Welcome back, Doom fans. Lazygamer here, and in this quick and dirty tutorial we are going to talk about projectiles and how we can implement them into our map. So there are a few options. I'm going to cover them briefly, but first let's see how we can set it up. There are several ways of setting it up. You can trigger it by a walk of a line or a switch. I guess some other options as well, but that is how I will cover it. And all we need to do is find projectile, if I can spell it correctly, right? Let's go with a standard spawn projectile to start with. You will need a map spot and tag it. This is 1. You will need to use the tag number that is you have allocated to it. We can find a type. There's a few options here as well, but imp fireball will work. Movement angle, which way it will project. You can change that here. I will want it to go to the right, so it's, in other words, 0. We can set a speed, so let's just set 16. Let's see what happens. And of course we have repeatable and walk over. Peg pointing in the direction that my player is facing. Let's see how it goes. Yep, it's fairly slow. Can also trigger it, the switch. I gave this a slightly different vertical speed. There's a horizontal speed and a vertical speed. So if you leave it at 0, it will just go in this direction at this speed. If you set a speed vertical as well, it will go in that direction as well. Now here in this example, I have selected a different projectile spawn. This has gravity. Let's see how this works. When we trigger it, it will be dealing with gravity, and it will slowly lower. So at a higher velocity, it will go longer before it drops. So you can set any speed you like. Over here we have target projectile. Let's see. Did I actually show you this? It's not much different from the other one, apart from being dealing with gravity, so it's not much different apart from this. Can you tell this was not planned? So here we have spawn projectile intercept. This will need both spawn map point and target map point. We have no direction here because this will automatically go after the map target thing. Speed is the same, so when we trigger this, it will go in the exact same direction but it will go in this direction because there's target here. It will not hit the target and stop. It will hit when it hits the wall, but it will go in this direction. So if you notice, there was tag map thing there as well. So it will follow in the direction of that target. Now here I apparently didn't set the correct things. Excuse me one moment. This is exactly the same. It works. This. What did I do? I did it wrong. Never mind. This is exactly the same thing, or the aim is the same, but spawn aim projectile works the same as this, just have has different parameters. For some reason it didn't work. What is that? Didn't I set these? Oh, 7. And 8. See? 6 and 7. I am not doing well, am I? Now. 6, 7. You should be 7. That should work. Yep, it works the same way once you set it up correctly. Yep. Now technically you should be able to set up several things to fire at once, and that will work. However, if you have more than one target, it will spawn one for each target, and it will be just a mess. So, however you look at it, doing it manually is not ideal if you are thinking about having multiple projectiles. So we will have to cover scripting. It's a fairly simple script, which I found after some tinkering around. So, thing projectile aimed. You will need the spawn map ID, which in my case is 10. You will need the projectile ID for imp fireball is 10 as well. Speed, of course, I set it at 16 just because it's easier to see. You can set it at any speed really. And this is something new ID thing. It doesn't matter for this thing, and a delay just so you can't just spam it. And if you should have covered some, I covered that very, very fast, so you should have at least an inkling of how scripts work. And when we test it, we should have a direct line, and we can spawn it if we want to. You could set it to just do one, and when we have a script, instead of triggering a script by a switch or walkover, we could set it to enter, so it will enter does not have parentheses. There we go. I haven't done this in a while, okay? So when we start the map, it will fire. I didn't set it to repeat, so it will only fire once. You can still use this to trigger it manually. So, that was a brief, short-ish introduction to how we can use projectiles in your map. I'm sure there are other ways to do this or use it in a different way. You can play around with it. I have just started to look into this. It was a help request from Discord member, so you can try and talk to him or me there if you want. I might answer. In the meantime, this has been your host, the Lazy Gamer, logging off. Bye, guys.